Oh, hello. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the next round of Kilty Moroch news that's been put up today on the Warhammer community website. So we're looking at Kilty Moroch and the Incursor Marksman. So this is what we found out so far about the Incursor Marksman. He is an Incursa, okay? So he's not an infiltrator. He is specifically called out as being an Incursa. And he has his Stalker Marksman bolt carbine, so he has gained over and above the Marksman bolt carbines that we've seen in the standard infiltrators. He has gained a BS of 2+ and AP1. Now, it'd be funny if AP1 was an increase across the board and the only thing he got special was the 2+, but I feel like the AP1 is also part of what makes his guns special. Now, he may have other special rules that Warhammer community haven't told us about, but he does have a special tactical, this is a special rule, track target, 1 AP, he can do this every turn. So, once this turning point during an enemy operative's activation, after that enemy operative performs an action, you can interrupt that action. If you do so, this operative can perform an overwatch action. If it has a conceal order, change it to an engage order to do so. It must make that shooting attack against that enemy operative using its Stalker Marksman bolt carbine if it's a valid target. If that enemy operative is not incapacitated or revived as a result, finish its activation. This action is treated as a shoot action with the bolt weapon for the purposes of action restrictions, although this operative can perform its action if it has a conceal order. Now, I don't know how strong that is because, it's still only a 4 dice hitting on 2s, 3-4 damage, AP1 lethal 5-up gun. So, you throw 4 dice, let's say you're going to hit. It's difficult, isn't it? Maybe you expect, let's say, 3 hits and a crit, right? So 9, 13, AP1. They're going to save possibly as many as 2. So you might get hit and a crit through 8 damage. It's probably going to kill. Yeah, it's probably going to kill. Like my non-maths brain tells me you're probably going to one-shot your 7-8 wound models, okay, but it's not going to hurt anything that's more powerful or more elite if you have decent dice. But obviously, it is very swingy. But it's cool. It's really, really cool. It's like 2nd edition or Necromunda Overwatch, where you could set a model onto Overwatch. And then, you could go on and then say, right, if you enter this area, I'm going to shoot you. And fond memories of playing old school Necromunda and having a guy with a heavy stubber on a tower overlooking like a kill zone, and you'd be saying, right, well, I'm on Overwatch, and then no one would be able, and then eventually someone would send like a Juve or something out to try and trigger your Overwatch, so you'd shoot that, and then they could send their real thing across. And that's I like that gameplay. That's quite new. That's quite clever to Kill Team. I understand this sort of thing is the bread and butter of Infinity. I've owned some Infinity models, but I've never played it. But to Kill Team, it's new and it's cool, and I like the look of it. Yeah, so a little bit pessimistic about the actual stat line of the gun. It's not awful, but it's just in the realm of where it's the same thing I said in the last couple of videos about Phobos, where most teams have a plasma gun or similar or something they can rely upon. If this is the special weapon, it's not that great, but at the same time, this is a fun ability. Picking it apart, it's a bit interesting. This actually is treated as a shoot action with a bolt weapon for the purposes of action restrictions. Does that mean a shoot action with a bolt weapon? So does that exact wording mean that they have always have bolter disciplines? They can always do 2 shoot actions with bolt weapons, for example. It could mean that, and it could mean that it counts as one of their shoot actions with a bolt weapon towards the 2 that they can do. That's possible. So if you do this before you've activated this guy, then if you do this before you've activated this guy, then that means that he can only shoot once on his turn, where maybe usually they can all shoot twice. If they don't have any kind of special rule, but the presence of that clause with a bolt weapon implies that they have something like Bolt of Discipline, even if you have to pay for it still. Does it mean that if you've already activated this guy and shot twice, you can't shoot again? Because you had your 2 shots for his thing? Not sure. But then it is an Overwatch action that's treated as a shoot action. That's a little weird, isn't it? Because you can always do the Overwatch action, but this one's called out as being treated as a shoot action. So can you do it if you've already shot this turn? You'd assume no. So I think probably he's going to have having to ration his 2 shots. He's probably going to get 2 shots with Bolt of Display active, but you're going to want to, basically you're going to want to activate him. You're going to want to leave him up there with his track target, denying an area, and activate him towards the end of your run of activations. But you can have him up somewhere behind a little fence or whatever. If you're lucky enough to have vantage with some cover on it, have him concealed. He's basically invulnerable, watching, waiting, and then, you know, if he doesn't get a target, then you can activate him and move and shoot somewhere else. That's pretty sweet, to be fair. We get another titbit here. Like all Incursors, they're also equipped with a multi-spectrum array. This stylish visor allows them to see through shrouds of smoke and means enemy operatives must be even further away to hide behind obscuring terrain. So it doesn't ignore obscuring like the multi-spectrum array tactical ploy used to, but it will let you, it will probably make it a lot harder for the enemy to be obscured. Obviously the devil is in the detail, and it depends what the actual rule is there as to how useful that is, but that sounds pretty good. Like all Incursors, just hold that in your mind for a second. So we're going to have 3 flavours of Phobos. Now this is remarkable for 2 reasons, not just one. The Phobos strike team can include a range of infiltrators, incursors, and even throw in some Reivers. So yes, Reivers are on the menu, okay? They're not in the box, okay? So maybe you want to go out and buy a box of Reivers. If you want to do a Phobos team and create the full roster, maybe you want to go out and buy a box of Reivers. I probably will. I'm not quite going to know how to build them until we start to get the man read book content from people on Saturday, because maybe I'll have to worry about whether I'm gluing on the little veins for the drop pack. Maybe I'm only going to be allowed to have one with his drop pack thing. Maybe they're all going to have it. Not quite sure there. But Reivers definitely are going to be in the team in some capacity. Don't know how many. Don't know if they're going to have be any Reiver specialists. I could see that maybe you have to have a specialist. You have one with the drop wings. Maybe you can have them all with them. Maybe they are still just an equipment that you buy, and so you model them on or not, but you have to declare whether you bought the equipment. Who knows? It's interesting to me that Incursors and Infiltrators are discrete options, because when we first saw the Warhammer Fest leaks of these team, they were all Infiltrators. And even this guy, who we now know as an Incursa, is modelled not to use the standard Incursa backpack aerial, which is more square, and he seems to have a version of the Infiltrator gun, so it was very confusing. But now we know that he is flagged as an Incursa, and separately we've got Infiltrators. So since we know that the Incursors are going to have a version of the multi-spectrum array, so this here on the left is from the compendium, so we know the Incursors are going to have a version of this. The rule has changed, but the flavour of what it does hasn't changed. Does that mean that the Reivers are going to get a version of Terror Troop, and the Infiltrators are going to get a version of Omni Scrambler? Right, which used to cost them a CP, they're going to get that as a global benefit, and then you're going to have to balance how many Infiltrators, how many Incursors, how many Reivers you put on your team. To think about this a little bit, permanently active Terror Troop. So each time an enemy operative will perform mission action or the pickup action, if this friendly Reiver operative is within blue of the objective, one additional action point must be subtracted to perform the action. Potentially extremely strong. especially if you Reivers end up being quite mobile with the little jump pack things. And when determining control of an objective marker, a friendly Reaver operative is in range of, treat enemy operatives as playing APL 1 or less. Potentially very strong for the objective game from Reivers. The Omni Scrambler, depends what they do with it as well. It's just a flavour of it. Use tactical persona, visible to and within red of an infiltrator. So one enemy until the end of the turning point can't be activated until another enemy. I don't know how you make that work as a global thing at all, though, to be fair. So it might be called an Omni Scrambler, but I don't understand how you make that work as a global thing. I can see this one being, not exactly this, but some kind of, in the same way the multispectrum array, the new rule, which was on the previous slide, has the flavour of this, but isn't this. I can see the Terror Troop rule, them having some flavour around it being harder to do your objectives as there's a Reaver breathing down your neck. I can see that. So yeah, I still don't know and would love your opinions in the comments. Should I do my Phobos team as Templars to match my 40k army? Should I do them as Red Hunters, an obscure chapter from the Forge World Badab War books that works for the Inquisition that I kind of enjoy? Or should I do them as Raven Guard, which could look really cool and be thematic, but is also kind of super low-hanging fruit? I think it'd be one of a million Raven Guard teams. I'm still not certain. Because Templars are my favourite chapter, but they don't really suit the whole Phobos aesthetic because they're not huge and screamy, and you can't really put the chain weapon things on Phobos. It doesn't make sense. Red Hunters are cool and niche, but then I'm committing to not being able to use them with 40k, so it'll be a little project by itself. Raven Guard would be really cool because you get accessories and upgrades and really bling them out, whereas with the Red Hunters it would be a paint job and a decal situation, whereas Raven Guard are more of a modelling project, but I just think it's a bit kind of basic. A lot of people are going to have that idea. There's going to be a lot of Raven Guard Phobos teams. Can't decide between those three. Maybe I should do something totally different. I'm also a big fan of Crimson Fists. I don't know. Haven't decided. Not doing Ultramarines though. Okay, final thoughts. I want to know in the comments, saw a comment on my Discord, someone saying I still think Phobos might be dead on arrival. Are you excited for Phobos now, or does the lack of understanding where the ranged punch come from still make you pessimistic? Is there anyone else like me that's thinking of running out and buying a box of Reivers at some point? I'm literally going to ask Mrs. T.I. if she wants to go into town tomorrow and pick up a box of Reivers. She might say no, but I will ask. A box of Reivers this week would be cool. The Nachman stuff. So, I mentioned this before, that they were probably not... they hadn't announced they were releasing the separate things from Nachman, the Legionaries and the Corsairs and the Book and the Terrain. Now, if you go onto their retailer website, which is like retail.gamesworkshop. blah blah blah, it's like a secret website that's not linked anywhere, where they communicate directly with FLGS staff, and they give them like they're giving you the potted. I'll put the link in the description. They're giving you the potted kind of, I'm going to explain what's coming out next week to you so that you can explain it to your customers, even if you don't live and breathe our games. They've got that kind of article, and in that article they say something about, they don't say all the Nachman stuff, they say specifically the Legionaries are coming out alongside the other things. It wouldn't be the first time they've put extras out on release day that weren't in the Sunday preview, so maybe we're also going to get the Legionaries and the Corsairs and the book and the terrain set. So cool for the people that want that. I am going to stream tonight. I'm going to finish building the Tau, and then I'm going to do something else if the stream's still going. I don't quite know what else I'm going to do. I'm going to be streaming from 7 PM until 10 PM UK time. So 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10. You know how many hours that is, right? So I might see you then. I hope you have a great rest of your day, if not, and I hope you're as looking forward as I am to Saturday and finding out from, not me unfortunately, go and watch Glass Half Dead stuff. It looks like he's put a lot of effort into it. I'm one of his Patreons, I've seen his behind the scenes stuff, so go and have a look at that and on Saturday. And yeah, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Please subscribe, like and subscribe and comment and all those fine things as well. Alright everybody, have a great one. Cheerio.